Hello and welcome to another episode of Fintech Focus TV with me, Toby. Today we are up with the crows, and I am delighted to bring to you today none other than my Fintech Focus podcast co-host. It is Nadia Edwards-Dashti. Nadia, how are you?
I'm really well. How are you, Vav?
Very good, very good. Nice early start for us this morning.
Yes, definitely. It's 7:30. Let's do it.
I know you've been on a long time before that as well. So good to start with a bang this morning.
Yeah.
We wanted to as I've said before on this, we're spending a week looking internally and introducing a few of the group to you and talking about a few of the things that we're doing and looking at the market in a sort of holistic manner. And we will be returning to the guests very, very shortly. But I wanted to bring Nadia into the show on the back of her recent promotion from Managing Director of the Harrington Starr team to our Chief Customer Officer, which I think is a really, really important role that we've created because customers are absolutely the fulcrum of everything we're doing. So Nadia, tell me first and foremost about what it means to you and what this role is all about.
So, first and foremost, I'm super excited to be able to say that this is what my focus is going to be moving forward. And I was talking to somebody yesterday about it, and they said, "Is this a title because you have been doing this role before, or is it that you are changing your role now?" And I said, well, actually, this is what I've been doing. And this is something that really we kind of created for me, probably at the beginning or middle of the first lockdown. And I think that what gets me so excited about it is that we are a recruitment agency and we constantly talk to people about investing into people within your team, investing into their careers and listening to them about what they love to do, what they feel they can excel at, and allow them to really grow within that. And for me, the customer is paramount. It always has been. Since I started working in recruitment 17 years ago, if ever I didn't do a good job, that's the sort of thing that would keep me up at night. So for me, feeling like I can add value to all the different types of people that I come in contact with and ensure that I come into contact with lots of different types of people through our business, I know that that's going to be a really positive thing moving forward. So yeah, I'm really excited to talk a bit more about it today.
Yeah, I think it's that total relationship with our clients is something which is really, really important. We've been talking ever since we started. So for those of you who don't know, Nadia and I were there on day one of Harrington Starr. And when we were able to shape that and look at what we wanted to do with it, we wanted to do something different in the marketplace, which was centered around providing a great customer experience and changing perceptions of what recruitment was all about. And customers has always been a very, very big part of that. So Nadia will be enhancing our brand, as she's been doing brilliantly with the 17% Club and everything around the DEI discussions and her podcast and everything. Expanding our relationships with our current customers, and creating new solutions and winning new business across the group, and making sure that every single touch point with our customers is at a world-class level. So I think it's such a valuable thing to bring to the party, and we'll dive into all of that over the course of the next half hour or so. But let's kick off about talking about who your customer really is. What is a customer to you, Ned?
Yeah, I'm really glad you've asked that, because like for me, before we can move into like what my customer strategy is, why I think the customer is so important, I really wanted just to define like who that is, so that people listening can understand that actually it's them. It doesn't matter whether they are somebody that is looking to grow their business or whether there's somebody who's looking to grow themselves within their career. For me, the customer is everybody that we come into contact with as a recruitment agency. Anyone at any time, and actually in every time of their career. And what I mean by that is because recruitment traditionally is simply about finding people a job. And this is the sort of conundrum that people just couldn't get their head around, especially 17 years ago when I was talking like this. For me, it was never just about finding somebody a job when they were looking or calling a company when they were hiring. For me, I wanted to build really good, long-lasting relationships with people, and with them in a sense where they would be feeling like I was adding value to their business, that I was being of service. When we built this business, we built it, as you just said, on the foundation that we were going to add more value than that of our competitors, that we were going to ensure that people felt that we were not just getting them to their solution, but they were enjoying using us to get to their solution. And I think one of the things that we said 11 years ago when we set up the business is that a lot of people use recruiters in spite of how their customer service is. And what we've got to do is ensure, and we said this 11 years ago, we've got to ensure that people are thrilled and delighted by the way that we work with them. And those two words, thrill and delight, are two things that I'm going to be saying a lot throughout this pod, because for me, nothing is truer than that to this day. And it's taken, I think, the market a long time to really understand what our responsibility is. And for me, that adding value and that being of service is some of the things that you've just mentioned. So I get really excited about helping people within their careers make the right decisions for the long run. I get really excited about helping clients when they're looking to hire and grow and build their teams. I get really excited talking to them about how they're going to do that, again, for the long term, how they're going to make sure their staff aren't leaving at the average of 13 months, but instead that we start moving towards where we were 17 years ago, where people were investing into their roles for 3+ years. And these are the sorts of things that I love talking about, because these are the things that make huge differences to businesses and people out there today. So there's a plethora of things that I have been doing and I will continue to do, and I will grow on these ideas as I move through this role. But for me, this adding value and giving back to the community that I'm building is very much through the constant panel events that I either run or I'm part of, or I invite people into. The roundtables, the podcasts, the webinars, the magazine features, all to ensure that people can learn about how we can go about business together, and that business being founded on authenticity, and making sure that we're not just providing a great recruitment service, but it's a recruitment service that people will truly see changes their business moving forward and changes their life and their career moving forward. So who's the customer to me? It's everybody that we'll be coming into contact with in different ways.
Yeah, I think that's a really important thing, and it gets me very nostalgic going back to that, because it reminds me of a few phrases that we've spoken about since inception. So the original tagline of the business was excellence through understanding, and that was really understanding the needs of everyone we were talking to, both candidate and client. There was excellence in the mastery of the fundamentals, wanting to do every single moment of truth as well as we possibly could with our customers. Brilliant basics, magic touches was something which we started speaking about in 2012. And again, really sort of making sure that there were areas that delighted people. I think all of these sort of triangulate to say that when you talk about those, everyone who we're dealing with is every candidate's on a journey, and every client's looking to build it. And we're not just looking there to build their teams and grow their teams, but we're also looking to grow their networks, their careers, and their brands alongside that as well, with everything you've been talking about. So I just think it's a really fundamental part and the sort of fulcrum, the heartbeat of our business, is to get that sort of customer journey absolutely spot on and move it further forward. Now, we've spoken about the importance of the customer, and you mentioned and intimated this earlier on. Tell us a little bit about why the customer is so important to you.
I think it's so important because for me, and I mentioned this quickly before, my personality and who I am is driven by feeling like I've helped and I've added value. It's always been my way since I was a little girl. And actually, in my first few years of recruitment, I was probably my most stressed within my career, because actually I found that I wasn't doing that. And I'm often really honest with people about like those first few years and the stress levels I had, because I didn't feel like I was doing a good job. I didn't feel like I was providing a solution. I definitely didn't feel like I was adding value. And that's really driven me from something quite negative, has driven me to something really, really positive. And I think you've touched upon it earlier. There is a general perception of recruitment out there. We're still not the profession that you and I like to see our business as. And often, sadly, there are many individuals within the marketplace that are true to that perception. But why I think the customer is so important to me is because I have never been so confident that I can do more than just help somebody identify their next role, or help them identify their next person for their team. That to me is obviously a really, really important part of what we do, but I think it's so much bigger than that. And that concept of candidates and clients being a customer that I should support, for me, it's ensuring that they're looked after, that they're happy in the service, that they're thrilled, that we've gone above and beyond. We haven't just found their next new member of staff. That next new member of staff will continue to be looked after by myself or somebody within the business to ensure that their onboarding's gone well, to ensure that when they ask for their next promotion in a year's time, that that's done in a way where they're really supported. And I think these are the things that people don't normally associate with who we are as recruiters. You know, and 15, 16, 17 years later, from those levels of stress that I mentioned at the beginning, you know, I've got the confidence now to talk about being emotive in business, being empathetic. I've got the confidence in saying, yes, I am passionate about your business. I love what you're saying about your business, and I can't wait to be talking to prospective new member of staff about where your business can go. And again, traditionally, that wasn't recruitment. Recruitment was find a CV, put that CV forward, and that's it. So no wonder I was stressed, because that's really not me. For me, it's much more holistic than that, you know, and I'm confident now in supporting our customers, ensuring that they are putting themselves and their careers first. So all those traditional concepts of recruitment not being associated with actually helping people move forward, I think for me, it's really exciting that this customer focus, the people that look for their next jobs, the people that look to grow their teams, for me, it's about ensuring that everyone can be better and can achieve their goals. And that is to do with them being the best that they can be. And that best they can be is something that I want to be a part of, and I'm really confident that I can add value within that. So why is the customer important? It's all of those things together, because we're in it together. It's a partnership, and a long-term partnership as far as I'm concerned.
I absolutely agree. And I think, you know, the more that you touched on that professional services piece there, and I think this is so critically important. It's my soapbox moment whenever we talk about this, because I just firmly couldn't be more passionate about the importance of strong recruitment. And strong recruitment in any business means that you're able to attract and engage and retain the best talent. And if you're doing that, that is the engine of your propelled future growth. And if you speak to any successful CEO who's created a business of scale of success, it will be because they've managed to attract and retain the best people within their business. So this becomes, it becomes critically important to have a professional service that you would look at in the same way as a consultancy, in the same way as an accountancy, in the same way as a legal team, to make sure you are there and engaging with a company who can really understand you and deliver solutions to you. And that sort of very much feeds into the strategy that you're looking to create and build on over the sort of 11 years of customer strategy that we've had so far. Tell us a little bit more and open the sort of kimono on the customer strategy that you're looking to integrate into Harrington Starr.
Yeah, well, actually, you've covered a few of the bits just then in what you were just saying, and I think it really starts with understanding where people are within their lives or their situations, and where is it they'd like to get to. And again, traditionally, that's not necessarily something that anyone's really looked at with when it comes to recruitment. Anyone who listens to any of my podcasts know that for me, an individual's motivation, a company's mission, an individual's values, a company's values, all of these things are incredibly important to somebody making the right decision within their career, or somebody else deciding that they want to grow their business. And for me, the strategy itself is about getting to that understanding, being really clear with that understanding that is going to change, because we are all people, and businesses are a living, breathing thing. And they may pivot, as we've seen in 2020. That word pivot was used a lot over the course of 2020, and we have to be agile to that. But for me, the core of it is understanding the situation somebody is in and ensuring that I support them in the move forward and bring a solution to whatever problem or challenge that they're facing. And this is why I'm so excited about what my strategy is going to be, because over the course of the last 11 years of us growing and building the Harrington Starr Group, I've been in a number of different roles where actually I haven't been as close to the customer as I have been in the last 6 months, and as I will be moving forward, meaning that I can be true to myself, my personality, what I actually want to do. And that isn't just say I'll add value, but actually add value myself, ensure that I'm the one getting that clarity of information, ensure that I'm the one that's really getting under the hood of what is it that somebody needs and why do they need that, and ensuring that we actually get to that as a solution. People have often said that I'm resilient, but I'm also very persistent. And I'm not someone that will give up very easily. And I think that a lot of recruitment processes are journeys, and there are journeys that we have to go on. And I'm really excited about being part of those journeys with people now, being so close to it. So if I was to sort of break down this understanding, getting somebody to a solution, I'd say the strategy is like a three-pronged attack. And actually that three-pronged attack for me really revolves around those two words of being thrilled and being delighted. And that is very much the heart and soul of what I want this role to be. I don't want to just do a good job. I want to ensure that people are thrilled and delighted by the service that they are receiving. And you know what, they'll probably be shocked too, because it's not, those two words are not what people associate with recruitment. But if people are thrilled and delighted, they are saving themselves, as we've spoken so many times before, so much time, energy, money, and they're putting themselves and their best foot forward for success for their business. Again, we've spoken about it so much. If you have the right team behind you and you are working with the right partners, there's nothing that can get in your way with your business strategies for this year and next. So I think it's really exciting. But my three-pronged attack on this is repeat, refer, retain. And this for me is very much a reflection of the happiness factor. If we are delivering well, and if I am delivering well, if I'm accurate, if I'm efficient, if I'm easy to work with, if people are thrilled to work with me, delighted to work with me because it's enjoyable, and we get through a challenge or a solution together in an enjoyable manner where you feel confident that we have reached that solution, I believe that people will be really thrilled and delighted with the service. So for me, refer is so important, because if someone is thrilled and delighted, if someone believes that I've gone above and beyond, and they can see all the work that I'm doing in the community to make the community a better place, and I've helped them solve a very big issue or challenge, then for me, such a good service. It's like when you've gone to a great restaurant, or you've had an amazing cake. You want to give that slice to somebody else. You want to talk to that person about how great that food was at the restaurant, or how great that cake tasted, because you trust that cake or that restaurant is going to taste just as good for that person, so you won't regret supporting it. And for me, refer, I think, is so important, because if you believe that you've had a good service, you want to use that service again, and you want to refer it to somebody else, that to me is my favorite part of the job. And for example, when I've spoken through like my inclusion strategies, or my work for gender equality, or when we've had some recruitment success and individuals fire off emails and suddenly I've got 4 introductions in my inbox, that to me is one of my favorite parts of the job. And I really want that to be part of what this strategy is about. So it sounds like I'm sort of jumping way ahead, but I think that has to be my goal for this role. I want to solve people's problems. I want to really understand what they are. I want them to enjoy that, so they want to use us again. And then they're so confident with that, they want to refer us. And then the third one for me is very much the retain piece, because for me, retained is the highest level of trust. Once you decide to retain a recruitment service, it's because you understand how important that recruiter is to you. You'll understand how important and how much value I can add to your business, and how I'll be so part and in line with your success when it comes to this. So, you know, the honesty of my assessment, the clarity of my advice, you'll want to retain those services to guarantee that level of service again and again. And that to me is incredibly exciting.
Yeah, I think you've used a really interesting word there in recruitment terms, which is trust, right? And that's that trusted advisor status. The person there who's able to, deliver the right person as opposed to just the person. seems to me to be one of the fulcrums of great customer service within recruitment, because there is and remains that sort of pain where you are pushing people onto people in recruitment, and the wrong solutions are made. And I think if you can have that patience to build that trust and do the right thing, then companies are going to work far closer to their recruiters and build that trusted relationship with them at the same time. And I think that's such an important thing to look at, and one of the challenges to overcome, and there are plenty of those as well. Talk to us about the sort of challenges you see and obstacles in the pathway, and what you do to plan to overcome them.
Yeah, so I think as you said, there's many challenges that we will be and I will be looking to overcome. But I think the really important thing to mention is that for a long time now, I've been able to say to individuals external to our business, I am not the recruiter myself, but what that means is it gives me the opportunity to look at things from a more holistic view, and to look at the marketplace in a more holistic view, to actually solve challenges that we talk about but no one really has the time to fix. So there's and what I mean by that is a really good example is the gender imbalance in technology, that debate. And we all know how passionate I am about that, but across all technology in the UK, we still only have 17% of women. Now this is a topic that if I was hands-on recruiting right now, how would I be able to tackle that issue realistically? I'm sure I could answer, a few questions on people's requests for information about the business, on how I'd like to solve the issue. But actually, how can I, when recruitment is, the nature of recruitment is you've got a vacancy or you're looking for a job and you need to fill that vacancy now. And there is an element of urgency associated with that, especially if you're going to be using an agency partner of it. And when there's that element of urgency, it's very difficult to actually look at the bigger picture challenges that we need to face. So this is why I believe that I can thrill and delight, because I am looking at things. I'm in a very privileged position where I can take a step back and look at things for the greater good, for the long term. So the pure fact that I've introduced my 17% list campaign. There is nothing else like that out in the marketplace. There's so many people talking about the gender imbalance, but where are the solutions? What's the how-to? And this to me is the crux of what this job is, because everyone knows me. I can wax lyrical for hours about understanding you, wanting to do a good job for you as the customer, ensuring that we find you the right person that will stick with you for the long term. And actually, I now take that for granted, because you know what? I'm a decent human being and I want to be able to sleep well at night knowing that I've added value. That to me, I take that bit for granted. Now what I'm excited about are these big challenges out there in the marketplace where businesses understand there's a direct correlation between their profits and their diversity levels within businesses. They cannot reach out to their customer base if they don't have a reflection of their customer base internally. If they've only got one type of thinking, they cannot think wider. They cannot come up with new ideas. They cannot be the best that they can be in the marketplace. I could go on and on. So how do we solve these problems? This is what I'm so excited about. That's a huge challenge. I'm already there with my how on the 17% list. I'm in this privileged position where I can be thinking forward and saying, right, what else can I do to make change happen? And again, my roundtables, what have I done in the last 3 months with roundtables? I've decided it's such a tiny thing, but it's a challenge that needed to be overcome. We can't network to the level that we used to. So I've decided to make sure that my roundtables are now in sessions that are closed sessions with people that stick together and go through a program of roundtables with me. I know there's a few other businesses that are doing that, but that's as their business. This is me adding value to my customer. And this is ensuring that that networking is actually better than it ever was. So it isn't new normal, let's just try and patch over the cracks. Instead, because of this position, I've looked at that as a challenge and said, right, how can I make this better than we ever had it before? And that's the feedback that I'm getting from my customer base. They are able to talk to different people within the financial services technology community, within the fintech community, about the challenges they're facing with regards to recruitment or with regards to inclusion, or what their DE&I priorities are for 2021. So for me, what I'm looking to do is take these challenges, and because of this privileged position where I can have this holistic view, take those challenges and solve the problems to actually do what is one of the things that I'm most passionate about, and that is that it's that phrase, every problem is an opportunity in disguise. And that's how I want to look at the challenges within this role. So of course I could go on and on with regards to like the day-to-day challenges, but I just wanted to start off with the more holistic approach to it all, because I think another thing that I want to mention is that this role, for me, it's really personal, because I went off on maternity leave at the beginning of the first lockdown. And it was very interesting because at that point, my role was very different to what we've created over the course of the last year, let's say. I went off on maternity leave. Probably 80-90% of my role was very internal people focused and people management. And at the time, probably 10-15% was external facing. Normally around problem solution, i.e. a problem with something within the business, no way thinking about things holistically or bigger picture. And when COVID hit at the rate that it did hit, 2 weeks after giving birth, well, I mean, you know, like I was back, I was doing things, and what did I choose to do? And actually, I think that was a real opportunity for me, because I had the chance to, it was almost like I had the protection of maternity leave. Like I didn't need to be at work. What I was doing was good. Whatever I did was good, and it was adding value to our business. And that freedom allowed me to really understand, well, what do I love doing? And what did I do? I thought that the community needed me. And I went out there and I did lots and lots of customer calls, people that were our current customers, and more importantly, people that had never ever heard of us before. I did lots of calls to help them at a time where there was no networking, there was no ability to talk about their businesses, and it almost felt crashed to at a time where we were in the first lockdown. And you know, my podcast went from strength to strength through my maternity leave, and my ability to go and meet with people and meet with them online, obviously, and help them solve some of their biggest problems, which at the time was just getting their name out in the marketplace. That to me was really exciting, and I wanted just to tell that story because I think for people to really understand why I'm so passionate about this role and why I am so focused on addressing challenges and turning those challenges and those problems into opportunities, is because that's exactly how it started, and that's how I want it to continue. So of course, the ins and outs, what am I going to be challenged by? Telling people that perhaps they're not doing things the way that's actually going to get them to the solution. One of my favorite challenges, but you know, you've got to do that with a bit of decorum and grace, you know, really important to do that. But you're helping someone. Like I've always said to myself, if you don't warn someone that they're about to hurt themselves, well, then that's not helping them. Don't just sit back and watch. And I think that's going to be a huge part of this role. Me saying to people, look, let me just give you a few case studies. This is what somebody else has done, and really just help people understand what the route is to get to success. That's going to be a huge challenge, but one that I always relish in. If giving clear advice was ever a challenge, it can be with certain people, and I'll look forward to doing that. But essentially, for me, all of these challenges, I really, and I've said the word excited, I'm excited by them because I am so convinced that I can thrill and delight people, and I can be honest with them. And that's something that we've always said is my strength. I'm able to give honest advice to people to help them get to their solution in a way where I'm going to have, as I said, that decorum and grace with it, which is so important to me, because it's people's businesses, it's people's careers, it's their decisions and choices. What they need from me is information, and that is something that I'm always willing to give. You know, I'm going to love the challenges, and I want to be part of those challenges with people, and I want to turn a challenge or a problem into something incredibly positive, and I'm excited about how I'll be doing that in lots of different ways. But essentially, it's going to make this business, this industry, this community better off the back of it, and that's what I'll be looking forward to.
Fantastic, and I think over the course of doing this show over the last year or so, one of the things I've been hearing a lot about from our customers, from the people I've had in the show, is about the importance of reducing friction in the trading process. So in trading technology, there's a lot of talk at the moment about friction reduction, and it's immediately translatable into the recruitment process. The points of friction, how difficult it is at various different stages to be running through a recruitment process, and I think that sort of piece there about understanding what people are looking for and helping to reduce that friction in the process is exactly what what you've been talking about there, and tremendously exciting. And I know, look, one of the things that we often speak about is how we love being asked why people should work with Harrington Starr, and where's the value, how are you different. And there are so many things that we do in that arena to make sure it's something that's completely valuable to it, and look, there's another show in that as well. So Nadia, look, I can't tell you how excited I am about the importance and significance of this opportunity. I've worked with you now for the best part of 2 decades in looking at the recruitment industry. We've helped thousands of businesses and people over the years find their dream opportunity and dream team for their setup. And over that period, I've seen no one better at being able to sort of really work with clients to understand their needs and to provide a really world-class service to it. So it couldn't be more suited to anyone to have you in this position. I know you're going to absolutely smash it out of the park. So it's been brilliant talking to you. Thank you so much for coming on the show today and sharing that wisdom. We hope you've all enjoyed it. And Nadia, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
My pleasure. Thank you all for watching. We'll see you soon on another episode of FinTech Focus TV. Thanks a lot.